Hey guys, so recently some of my coworkers and I have been talking about like the whole thing with quiet quitting and things like that. And so um, one of them told me about this Reddit thread, and I found some and I want to read some of the comments. And for those of you who don't know, what quiet quitting is, it's basically when somebody just up and quits with no notice and things like that. And obviously, I would not recommend doing this if you don't want to burn that bridge, because if you do that, you will definitely be not rehireable. So take that into consideration, and it could potentially affect like future employment, but that's not what this video is about. So this was in a Reddit thread from 9 days ago, as of the day that I'm filming this. And it was in the um, Reddit forum, I guess. I don't know what you would call it. It's called Ask Old People. And so the question is, what do you think about quiet quitting? Now, there are 64 comments on this, and I just wanted to read some people's thoughts. So this one I really like. This person said, I heard it more aptly stated as acting your wage, and I think that's great. Um, Somebody else said, it's not a thing. They don't pay to own me 24/7. I have a good workplace that is very give and take with time, so I don't mind doing extra when needed, and they don't mind if I take a couple of hours in the middle of the day to run an errand. First of all, that sounds like an awesome place to work, because I've never worked at a place where I could just leave in the middle of the day to go run errands and they were fine with it. Um, Somebody else says, it's a propaganda phrase to point the finger at people who won't take on more work or responsibilities without more pay. It's also a form of a fallacy, a deceptive and invalid attempt to discredit an opponent by answering criticism with criticism, but never actually presenting a counter argument to the original disputed claim. People don't want to do extra work? Well, that's just quiet quitting. It's also called doing your job. Want me to do more? Pay me more. Which I definitely agree with, because like there have been so many jobs that I've worked at where they've expected me to go above and beyond what my actual job responsibilities were. And I don't have a problem doing that to a point. Like, I have no problem going above and beyond. But at the same time, if I'm having to do that every day and you're expecting that of me, like, then we need to talk about like maybe I need to be promoted to a different position or move to a different position or something, because there's definitely an issue there if you're constantly being expected to do like way more than what you are told is part of your job responsibilities. Um, Somebody else says, it was called working to contract when I did it with my union. It's a valid tactic for workers. I like the alliteration, but roll my eyes at the pearl clutching like it's never been done before, um, which is true. Somebody said, haven't we caught on to the fact that there is little benefit for us in killing ourselves for our job? It's not like we're going to get bonuses or good pay raises if we go the extra mile. Most other countries understand the need for work-life balance. It's not bragworthy to say you've never missed a day of work. It's not bragworthy to put in ridiculous hours for a company that doesn't care about you. I've also heard the comment acting your wage, and I think that's a whole lot better. I am paid to do a specific job, and that's what I will do. Which is true. Like in other countries, they have like built-in paid time off and things like that, and other benefits in other countries where they definitely value work-life balance more than we do in the US, which I think is sad, because a lot of our health problems seem to have to do with like the fact that we're overworking ourselves. For example, there are two teachers currently at the school that I work at who have serious medical issues, and they would rather be at work than go to medical appointments to get those problems taken care of. And it's really sad to see them put their own lives and risk their own health on the back burner for this job. Like, I get it. I get that you love what you do, but you also need to take care of yourself at the end of the day. Someone else said, that's the thing. It's not quitting. It's doing exactly what you're being paid to do. So by definition, it's actually working. Someone said, it's valid. It might also be nearsighted. My first full-time job, I lived alone and didn't want to be homeless. I made myself valuable, learned what I didn't know, volunteered for odd shifts, ended up working by myself and calling our out-of-house computer techs occasionally. I learned the system and was hired by the company, paid me to move across several states and housed me while I house hunted. I understand that not all jobs would have that ability. I worked for Kelly Services before I started full-time somewhere and turned down a few full-time opportunities through them that I didn't think would lead anywhere. I don't think I got lucky. I think I made luck happen by applying myself. Life is more complicated now than it was then. I hope you all find your niche. Let's see. Somebody said, someone who reports to me has quietly quit, and I don't blame her for that at all. I understand exactly why she feels that way. She is actually one of our best project managers, even in spite of that, but here's the problem. She wants a supervisor position. I cannot, in good faith, recommend her for the position when she is actively doing her best to shed responsibility. As I'm writing this, I thought of a plan. I can suggest an assistant supervisor position for her so she has a chance to prove herself, and maybe it will lead to a supervisor position for her. I know she can do the job. It's her attitude that worries me. I already have an assistant supervisor on my team, so this plan would involve trading her for a lower level team member, but I can make that work. Thank you, Reddit, for prompting me to initiate a thought process that will potentially lead to an improved work situation for multiple people. I think it's good that like this thread has caused people to maybe think deeper into potential solutions for this problem, but also at the same time, I feel like if this person is saying that she's actually one of their best project managers and it's an attitude problem, maybe sitting down and having a conversation with this person instead of, saying that she could never be a supervisor because of her attitude, maybe there's something going on at home. Maybe there's something going on, outside of work that she is not getting enough sleep, or she's not, functioning her best at work, if that makes sense. So maybe look into the potential reasons why she might have an attitude instead of just saying that she could never be a supervisor. Let me see. I'm looking for more interesting responses. Somebody says it's bullshit, just management wanting more work than it wants to pay for. Because management gets bonuses for keeping fixed costs down, and the CEO is largely compensated by meeting profit levels, and the big shareholders or the private equity firm wants to be in and out in 2 years with a 30% profit. That's big business today. They're happy to use arguments of morality and responsibility on you because they don't have any. They're incentivized not to. I hope to live long enough to see this system crumble. And somebody else said, quiet quitting equals bad work ethics, in my honest opinion. And I want to address that because I totally get quitting, this quiet quitting or whatever. But on the same token, I get why you shouldn't do it because it definitely looks bad for potential future employers. But I also think that a lot of companies have taken advantage of a lot of their employees, and they feel like they can just force you to do anything or else, find someone else. And my thing is, with COVID, we lost a lot of people. And there are a lot of open positions because people have finally come to realize that their lives and their health are worth a lot more than what they may have realized in the past. And so I think that this is really because people are realizing that they are worth a lot more than what companies may have realized in the past, or allowed them to realize in the past. I don't necessarily think that it's bad work ethic to not allow yourself to be walked all over by a company that will replace you in a heartbeat if you were to get sick and die or have a stroke or something like that. I've worked for companies where I actually got written up because I had a stroke. and was in the hospital. I actually got written up because I had a stroke and was in the hospital, so I couldn't report to work that day. Like even when I brought all of my hospital paperwork, all of my discharge papers from the hospital saying that I had a stroke, saying what day I was admitted and what day I was discharged, like I still had a write-up, and it never got removed from my record because I could not call in because I couldn't speak because of my stroke. And like I was in the hospital and they still wrote me up. They never removed that from my employment record with their company. And I ended up quitting because of the fact that, you know, one, I had to do a lot of physical rehab and stuff after my stroke. But I just think it's ridiculous that I literally got written up for not coming to work on the day that I had a stroke. And so I think that in and of itself should definitely put things into perspective for people. Like a company doesn't value you whatsoever if they're going to write you up because you're in the hospital. And so I don't think that like me quitting because I need to take time to rehabilitate and to do physical therapy and things like that to be able to perform my job in a safe manner, I don't think that that's bad work ethics. But anyways, I just thought that I would share some of these thoughts with you guys. What do you think of the term quiet quitting? What do you think of quiet quitting in general? Have you known anyone, or have you yourself been a quiet quitter? And would you, if you felt like you weren't being valued by the company? So yeah, anyways, I just thought that I would share. And I will talk to you guys next time.